the Northwest to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the massacre that left a permanent scar on South Africa's memory. 34 mine workers were killed and 80 others were injured in running battles with the police at Lonmin in 2012. Mine workers have been striking for a living wage and better living and working conditions for themselves and their families in the area around the platinum mine. Despite a commission of inquiry that cost the country 153 million rand, there are still questions about who gave the order to shoot. eNCA's Moloto has more on the story for us. He's on the ground in Marikana, joining us now live this afternoon on Today. Good afternoon, Moloko. How is the program going at this stage in commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the Marikana Massacre?
Good afternoon, Braden. The program is certainly proceeding very well, I must say, and the numbers are quite impressive. AMCU had said that they were expecting about 25,000 people to be here. I'm not too sure if they have managed to meet that particular target. Earlier, we heard, of course, Bishop Paul Verrein of the Methodist Church saying that there are so many unanswered questions and there must be certain people, he did not necessarily mention them, who must come here to apologize. Also lamenting the fact that the situation here really is very dire, saying that it is so wrong that 10 years later we still have the people of Marikana living in debt and squalor, saying there actually has to be a university in this particular area. We also heard from a representative of the widows who was saying we actually still want the President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, to come down. We have many questions that we want to pose to him face to face. We know, of course, that the President is not in the country currently. He is attending a summit of the SADC heads of state and governments in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of Congo. But of course, we should speak to the man who captured that video, Braden, that many of us have seen, where the police were actually killing the striking mine workers who had gathered here 10 years back. His name is Dingi Mkize. Kabazela, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us. You captured that historic video which was seen all across the world. Let me take you 10 years back. How did you get it so lucky to be the one who captured that particular video?
Okay, Moloko, I think thanks for the opportunity. I think it's basically being at the right place at the right time and having covered news quite a lot in different places. It was a matter of just picking up the position, positioning myself behind the firepower on the day, because obviously, you know, during the day one had seen the build-up by the police, and you know, I wouldn't have wanted to be on the other side when I could clearly see that, you know, they are the ones with the big guns and all that. So yeah, I was just lucky to be there, in the right place at the right time, and you know, one never knew what was going to happen. I was out covering the story like I usually do, and the events unfolded that way. And yeah.
Dingi, for those of us who were watching that footage from home, really it scared many of us, even though we were not even around here. You were right in the middle of it as the bullets were flying all over. Were you not scared at some point that you might be caught up in the crossfire? Did it cross your mind that perhaps you should just flee, run for your life and leave this camera behind?
Well, no, not really, because you know, one has covered quite a lot of protests, and you sort of get used to having to do what your main task is. And it was basically to capture the events on the day. I didn't make the events. I just happened to, you know, roll and take the right position as I've said, and captured the events the way it unfolded. Yes, I was scared, and obviously I think later in the day, at night, that's when it sort of dawned on me as to what had happened. And it got me a bit scared, but when the events were unfolding, I was in, I could say, it blindfolded me. But in a way, when I was shooting, if you look at my pictures, you can see I focused on the wider shot of the police, and then I sort of panned to the right, showing the police firing. So in a way, it was like confirming as to what is it that I'm really seeing.
Finally, Dinky, when you come to this area at that copy of horror where the 34 miners were killed, especially when there are no masses here, you can still tell that the aura of death is still almost palpable. I'm not too sure, you coming back here 10 years on, did you still have those memories getting revived, to a point that you really are getting triggered somehow?
Yeah, in a way, I would have wanted to see the place a bit better than what it is now. Not a lot has changed. Even the area where the shooting took place, it's sort of like deserted, and I've been here before the event now. And it doesn't go down very well to see it not looked after like this. There's litter there and there, and personally, I would have wanted to see the area being looked after much better.
All right. Thank you so much, Kabazela. We appreciate your time indeed. Braden, this man captured that important video on behalf of news agency Reuters, an international news agency. And of course, we've been seeing it playing out over and over again. And of course, in terms of the area not being developed, we have seen the statement from Amnesty International as well as the Center for Applied Legal Studies, a joint media statement where they are saying government has essentially failed to build the 2,600 houses here in Marikana, which it had promised to build, saying that they only built about less than 600 of those. And there's a shifting of blame. On the one hand, according to that statement, government has not done much, and on the other hand, you are seeing Sibanye Stillwater, which bought Lonmin, pointing the finger of blame at Lonmin. But in the end, indeed, not much has really happened, and we saw government also issuing out a statement earlier acknowledging the pain really that had happened here, saying that it is busy with what it calls the Marikana intervention renewal, something of that sort, saying that it wants to do away with that legacy of pain wherein people were killed. Of course, the program is continuing. Any time from now, Braden, the president of eNCA, Mr. Joseph Mathunjwa, would be taken to the podium to deliver the keynote address. We know that Musi Maimane was also built to speak here, the leader of the One Movement South Africa.
Thank you very much, Moloto. At Marikana, we hope to bring our viewers live with that keynote address by eNCA President Joseph Mathunjwa when it does take place this afternoon in Marikana.